Good morning, everybody. Welcome at the yearly sales conference. Happy to see everybody logged on, and it's with big pride I announce now Robin, our sales director, and he will give you a speech about the results of last year and the targets and the plans for the coming years. Welcome, everybody. Welcome back at our yearly sales conference. It's good to see you all again, the people here in the room and the people who looked online. We'll look back at last year, how well we did with our performance, and we will also be looking towards the future, our plans, our goals, etc., etc. So, but first, let me all welcome you and indeed also thank you, Remy, for introducing me. And we are very excited to see you all again as our one big solid IT company family. So it's great to welcome you all again and look back at last year's performance and this year's plans and outlook and goals and targets, etc. So all targets, just very simple, just like last year, 2024 compared to 2023. It's the same thing, the same recipe. It's simple. We know what we do or have to do. It's just 10% above, and of course not 10% compared to last year's target, but compared to last year's performance. That makes sense, right? And I believe in you. I know you can do this. Do this. You are the best sales force out there. You can do this. So this is what it means in numbers for the specific regions. And of course, the big question is, how are we going to do that? Well, I have good news. We have broken it down into activities. We know the average deal size, we know the conversion ratios, and we just assumed they stay the same. So we have those targets. We broke it down to targets of 2025 per sales rep. And then if you round it all up, you will need in total 193 meetings on a yearly basis. So these together. So that's possible. That's for sure possible. So yeah, the message is clear. We will go again for the 10% extra. You have proven it's possible, and you just have to do more calls, more discovery, more demos, more proposals, more quotes, more negotiating, more closing. So we will have more contracts. All of us, we will have more contracts. And I'm sure this is the way we can get that target again. I know you can do this. I believe in you. Does this sound familiar? Does this look like your yearly sales meeting, your yearly sales conference? Does this sound like your sales director? And does it go the same with the targets and the breaking it down? And if you are sales director, does this sound like you? Okay, so in this podcast, I will discuss with you and I will present you several sales success formula, the ones I came across during the years. Um, and I will show, I'm not saying that production and a focus on quantity is not important. It's the quick win. You just work. It's simple. It's simple logic. It's of course it's the first thing you think about when you want more outcome. Just work harder. So I call this type of manager the more manager. More deals, of course, higher target, more contracts, more calls, more demos, more proposals, more quotes, etc., more meetings, more. But if that was possible or not possible is never discussed. Because last year we also did more, and the year before we did also did more, and the year before that, and the last 5 years. maybe 10 years. Every year again, we do more, more, more. There's a limit. And I will prove you and have a tool for that. And I call it the sales simulator. You can also see it as a target simulator. I can make simulations. What is the best way to influence the outcome of your target, of your performance, your revenue performance? Let's explore a few sales success formula as I found them in practice in real life. So first one, we just discovered the one Robin, the sales director, is using. So in his mind, in his vision, result comes from quantity times quality. And he said it himself, he sort of assumes that quality sort of stays the same, conversion, average deal size stays the same, but quantity we can quickly improve. We just work harder. We just do more, like every year, like and the year before, and the year before, and so on. So quantity in capital and quality in lowercase letters. Um, Later in the podcast, I will prove you I can actually calculate it. I developed a so-called sales simulator, so a target simulator. For this, I can calculate and prove what has more impact, quantity or quality. So I will prove it, but I'm already saying it. For me, it's clear quality beats quantity. And of course, I'm not saying, like I said earlier, that quantity is not important, that we don't have to work hard and we can just have one fantastic meeting during the week and the rest we are on the beach. No, that's of course not true. That doesn't work like that. It just is that the quantity production has less room for growth and less impact on the overall performance. So quality will beat quantity. This is one I like. Friend, colleague of mine came with this one. Yeah, but you forget direction. Yeah, you're right. Direction. So what is in direction? So knowing which prospect to approach, the type of prospect which sort of automatically, organically suits us, matches with us. For this, of course, you also need good qualification. So you target the right, you start the quality already in the targeting and the qualification. So that is, you could say the direction is a quality thing, but let's put it aside for now. This is a formula which is being used by a few agencies. Why not? This one I used in the past when I was working for a specific agency in the Netherlands. We use this one. Personal result is a product of motivation, knowledge, skills, and talent. This is all true, of course, but there's nothing untrue. All of them are true. The question is more how true and is it complete or not. I tend to think that motivation, knowledge, skills, and talent, all of that together is part of quality. Because what I miss here is the quantity part. Of course, it's still important. We still need to work hard. We still need to produce the numbers. Sales is a numbers game. So I'm missing the production, the quantity part. This is just quality. And a quick explanation, what is actually the difference between knowledge, skills, and talent. Knowledge is theory in your brain, which you can apply into practice. For this, you need skills and you need talent. What's then the difference between skills and talent? A skill or technique is an objective something. Anybody can apply it or implement it, and you can be more or less good in it. So you are more or less skilled in that application. For instance, if I'm a tennis player, there's a certain way that we know how a backhand works best, but some are better than others. Then what is talent? Talent is DNA. That's your sales DNA, or sport or art, same thing. Where it's in your genes, it's genetic. You're born with it. You cannot change it. It's fixed. Talent is fixed. Does that mean that we don't need skills if we have a lot of talent? Not at all. Of course, most of the time, those talents are hidden. We don't know we are talented in something until we try it. So we always need to have that confrontation with practice, practicing, and trying to get skills before we understand if we are talented or not. And this indeed goes for art, sports, and sales as well. And I like to compare sales with top sport. This means that if you're more talented, doesn't mean you don't have to train. On the contrary, you still need to train to get that talent rise to the surface, to make it unhidden. Um, and the difference here is that the more talent you have, the faster you will learn that skill part, and the higher you max your ceiling. So, about motivation. Motivation, of course, is super important in sales. We cannot deny that. Uh, However, it's overrated. And I've had this conversation many times with sales leaders. Yeah, John is super motivated. Oh, that is great news. How do you know that? How can you tell? Yeah, because he's always happy and he's smiling, is enthusiastic, has a positive energy. He really wants to go for it. And then I say, okay, first of all, it has nothing to do with motivation. It's just his mood. Maybe it's his personality type. He just likes what he's doing. Doesn't mean he's motivated. Does also not mean he's productive. Does also not mean that he will become successful. Motivation, like enthusiasm, is sort of a mood. It's a very short-term thing. And of course, there are internal intrinsic motivators and extrinsic motivators. And the extrinsic motivators that come from outside are even more short-term. Can you influence it? Yeah, you can every day decide to be motivated today. But that has a different name. That's the, the, the dedication? No. Yeah, well, I like dedication. Good, 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 good. No, but no, discipline. Discipline will beat motivation every day. Because actually, if you're disciplined, you don't even need to be motivated. You just do it because you know that has to be done. And where is discipline coming from? That's not from short term comfort, that's coming from long term rewards. You decide to choose consciously to go for the long term reward. And I like the comparison with fitness here, because fitness is the most unrewarding sport there is. It takes incredibly long time to see results. You see a little results after a few months, but real results you see after 3 years. So you really need to focus on that long-term goal, and therefore you need discipline. You cannot be motivated every day. You can decide to be motivated every day, but it's not motivation anymore. That's discipline. Ask your fitness trainer what is more important, motivation or discipline. So discipline beats motivation. Motivation is actually not even that important. And enthusiasm is also not so important unless you're face to face with your prospect. So what it all means is that, okay, what have we seen? Quantity, quality. Okay, quality more important. I will show you later, will have much more impact. We forgot the direction, but we can also put it in the quality part. And in the quality part, we find also motivation, knowledge, skills, and talent. Skills are acquirable, talent not, but it has to be brought to the surface by training. Knowledge you can just learn, and motivation is a decision you take every day, but then it's called discipline. How about that? So, what does it all mean? We have a motivation. Motivation I put in the red circle. I will give a name to that circle later on. Motivation, of course, it's still important, but it's not a determining factor. There's one much more important, and I will explain it now. Resilience. So resilience is how tough you are, how thick is your skin, do you have elephant skin? This is much more important in sales than motivation. Why? Because there's no other job as in sales, where you fail so many times as any other job. If you're a pilot, that's even better, or a heart surgeon, thank God. But in sales, if you start calling, especially cold calling, you might be happy, you're good if yeah, well, okay, you're happy and lucky if you get 5% result, and you're starting to be good at 10%, and you're super good at 20%. Still means that in between 80 and 95% no. But 80 till 95% rejection every week. If you do 100 calls every week on your Monday, you will hear an 80 up till 95% no rejection. Not everybody can handle that. That's resilience, to be able to handle that, to be, that's okay, just shrug your shoulders about that and focus on that 5 or 10 or even 20 result appointments you got from that cold calling. Not everybody can handle that. And it's not only in the cold calling, it's every stage in the sales process. Again, you will lose a big part of your opportunities. It's not uncommon to have in between the several stages every time 33% conversion, which means that two-thirds is gone again and again and again and again, and all the way from contact to contract, from 100, 1%. That's normal in sales. So we have to be able to deal with rejection all the time, in every stage, all day, every week. And yeah, like I said, not everybody can handle that. So resilience is more important than motivation. You can be super motivated. If you cannot handle resilience, you're gone. So open-mindedness, are you coachable? So if you're not coachable, you cannot learn. If you're defensive by nature, maybe because you're insecure, you start always to go in defense when somebody holds the mirror for you. You're not coachable, you will not improve. So that will, yeah, make sure that you will fail in sales. So for if you're doing this open-mindedness, this coachability towards yourself, we call that reflection. We check the mirror every day, after every meeting, and after every day we check, we look in the mirror. What did I do wrong? What can I improve? That's reflection. If this reflection is coming from somebody else, outside reflection, feedback, that's accountability. You're being held accountable, and you need that open mind, that coachability, and of course also resilience, to be able to digest feedback coming from outside if somebody holds you accountable. Openness for feedback, coachable. So all of that together, and of course there are more aspects, but I think these are the most important. You see that it's called mindset. And all of that also indicates a growth mindset, because a fixed mindset already rules out coachability, reflection, accountability. So it's about a growth mindset, and mindset, yes, that's a much wider thing than just motivation. Now, we already saw motivation is only short-term thing. So the next one we found, of course, Robin's favorite, the sales director, is quantity production. I immediately asked myself then, this intersection between quantity, production, and mindset. The question here to answer is, how does mindset, how is that visible in production? So that's not motivation, that's not enthusiasm, it's discipline. Through discipline, you can see somebody's putting um, conscious effort, energy into production, literally from mindset to quantity production. So discipline is how you can see if somebody is putting his mindset, his focus to quantity in production. What else? So there we have it. That's efficiency. It's not just quantity production. It's a much wider, again, like with mindset motivation, it's much wider. It's not just quantity production, it's also discipline there, and it's also tooling, because tooling will provide efficiency. Think about CRM, maybe enablement platform, all kind of toolings you can think of to increase the efficiency, because quantity production without efficiency, we're wasting time. Stats, of course, statistics, dashboards, all of that contributes to efficiency. What else? Sales process. Yeah, of course, a sales process. It's stunning for me how many companies still don't have an explicit sales process or just a one who was provided by the CRM. The CRM is a standard sales process. It's important for you to um, establish, analyze, and establish explicitly sales process where you sort of align your sales process with the customer buying journey from your prospects. Of course, that contributes to efficiency. So we had quality, of course. Um, and I think there is, of course, an intersection between quality and quantity or efficiency, and also with mindset and motivation, etc. It all relates with each other. But we saw that direction could also be something which we put in quality. Um, And the first one we found in that other formula was personal results come from motivation, knowledge, skills, and talent. Yes, skills and techniques directly influence quality. And actually, quality is not the good word. We should here talk about effectiveness, because quality is the means and effectiveness is the goal. So the bigger circle here, again, sorry, is not quality. Like on the other side, where we have quantity is just one of the parts of efficiency, quality is just one of the parts of effectiveness. So skills and techniques, all of that should contribute to effectiveness. How can you see if mindset is manifested in quality? This coachability, the reflection, the accountability, the resilience, the motivation, all of that should also be visible in quality, not only in quantity, where it's been seen visible as discipline. Here it's visible as self improvement, especially proactive self improvement is somebody out of himself from own initiative, putting effort in becoming better. So there you have that mirror of course, that's directly become better, directly and coachability becoming better in what you do every day. So yes, self-improvement, especially proactive self-improvement, is how you can see if somebody is has a growth mindset and is motivated and disciplined to become better, not only to work hard to produce, but also to become better. What else do we find in the effectiveness circles? Yeah, already saw that. Talent, sales DNA, not something you can train, not something you can develop, but something you can discover. Direction, already covered that. Have a sales plan. That's pure professional. Having a sales plan also, of course, contributes to efficiency, but for sure, it contributes to effectiveness, because effectiveness is doing the right thing at the right time, contributing to the right goal. Efficiency is doing the thing right. So effectiveness is doing the right thing. Efficiency is doing things right. Having a sales plan, of course, contributes to doing the right thing, contributes to effectiveness. Sales methodology. Having an explicit sales methodology is not particularly the same thing as a sales process. It's connected, but sales process is having clear defined steps and checks and activities and competences defined for the stages in the sales process. Whereas sales methodology is sort of the strategy how you go through that sales process. For instance, if one of the steps in your sales process is having a discovery meeting before doing a proposal, which of course you should do, there are still several sales methodologies you can choose how to do that. For instance, consultative selling or value-based selling, or gap selling, or spin selling, or challenger sale. um, outcome-based selling, all of those have a similar approach, but different, but very likely follow the same steps. So we came to effectiveness, and of course, the product between efficiency and effectiveness is value. Think, for instance, about your pipeline, your weighted pipeline. If conversions and average deal size is quality, of course, these are typical quality KPIs, quality stats. Where numbers and production quantity is on the efficiency side. If you bring that together, for instance, in the example of a weighted pipeline, you bring your weighted value in the picture. That's a weighted pipeline value. That's value. So effectiveness and efficiency, or production, quantity and quality together, that's effectiveness. Together that will be value. And last but not least, of course, all of it together, the product of mindset, efficiency and effectiveness, of course, should bring success. So there we have it, the sales simulator. Finally. So here we have the sales simulator or target simulator. You can use it for simulating targets and what it means for your sales activities. We start working with the sales process. So here we have the sales process. 6 steps, 6 stages in the sales process, resulting in your target performance in units and in money. Suspects, calling sales qualified leads, having a discovery meeting, presenting a solution, hopefully being asked to quote, start negotiating and closing that quote, and hopefully it will result in scoring. So the conversion ratios here are these. And so here we have the conversion from suspect to SQL. Apparently there's a suspect base worked by marketing. This generates SQL, sales qualified leads, and you start to call them. This conversion is 50%. After the calling, the conversion is 10%. So you get 10% discovery meetings out of the calling. Then we have solution coming out, solution phase, solution presenting coming out of your discovery meetings, again 50%. Wow, this is great. So you get 75% quotes out of solution, meaning 3 out of 4 prospects where you present your solution will ask you for a quote. And then, of course, we start negotiating and closing, and then that conversion is 25%. The last step after the closing and negotiating, this results in 80%. Of course, this one is a bit bigger here because this is the same conversion. This is just units and this is just money. What it does, the simulation, is we have here the target. Here is the target. So we have goals and activities of 2024. So this was last year performance. We have here the targets expressed in year, quarter, month, and week. So there we have it. And we will count with 1 year, 4 quarters, 12 months, 52 weeks. Of course, you can change that. So this target here, here per year, 1 million per year. So that's the target, is 1 million per year. And we have here the average deal size, 40,000. So it starts calculating here, how many deals do I actually need where my average deal size of the whole team, of course the whole team performance is the benchmark. If that average deal size is 40,000, naturally you will need 25 of those deals to get that target. So then, of course, that's 250 per quarter, 83 per month, and a target of a little bit less than 20k per week. So it calculates this. And using that conversion ratios, which come from the CRM, which make it very easy to see how successful are we in this direction, from here, from here, etc., etc., conversion ratios. From the conversion ratios, you can easily calculate the chance percentage of the opportunity in that stage. So the 80%, of course, here is then the same, but the 20%, of course, is 80% and 25% product combined. So 15%, of course, is those three. So here we have the percentage from this to this. Here we have the percentage from this to this. Get it? So be mindful about that, because many people make the mistakes that they think that the chance percentage of an opportunity in a certain stage is the same as conversion ratio. Not true. Even some CRM software packages make this mistake. I'm sorry to be so stubborn about this or different-minded, but this is just mathematics. This is the percentage from here to here. This is the percentage from discovery to target. This is that 1% I was talking about. So from all your calling, having all these conversions, that will result that chance of one call, of 100 calls, you will get one reaching your target with these conversions. Now, I use these conversions or these chance percentages, it doesn't matter, and that's the same thing, to calculate back in time. So I put the target on the horizon, in this case the year target of 1,000,000. I have that 40,000 average deal size value, and it calculates back from the end of the year to the now how many opportunities do I need in the separate stages in the sales process. What that means, yes, I need 25 deals, contracts for 40,000 to get at 1,000,000, but because this phase, this stage, there's a conversion of 80%, this means I need 31 closing meetings where I'm negotiating. I will need 125 quotes made, sent out on yearly basis. I will need to have 167 presentation meetings where I present a solution. And I will need 333 discovery meetings. Clearly, this example is the example of remote selling, so through Teams and so on. Otherwise, it's not even possible. But you can imagine that it's busy, and you will need to make 3,000 calls, 300 at least. And of course, the whole thing is calculated per quarter, month, and week. So this is what it means quarter. This is what it means per month. This is what it means per week. In this example, you will need to do 128 calls. You will need to do 64 calls. Oh, okay, 128, not possible. But your marketing department needs to work on 128 suspects per sales rep to get enough leads, to get enough SQLs. So 64 calls per week, 6.4 discovery meetings per week, 3.2 solution meetings per week, 2.5 quotes per week, and 0.6 closing meetings per week. Count those three together, you have the total number of meetings per week. So this, let's say 10 meetings per week on average. You will see here that there's not so much room for growth. Your week is already quite full. Imagine we do this trick of Robin, we would just put standard 10% this year on top. What happens? What happens, we still, of course, he was assuming the conversion ratios was the same. And he is assuming the average deal size stays the same, so nothing on the quality side, only on the quantity side. We raised the target with 10%. What happens? You see here what happens. This is what is necessary per week. Suddenly you need to make 70 calls, have 7 discovery meetings, 3.5 solution meetings, make 2.6 quotes and 0.7. So you go from 10 till 11, 12 meetings per week to get that target. So if we do this a few years, let's do this again. Let's put another 100,000. What happens is what you have to do per week. So again, 10% is less than 10%, but okay. You see what happens. Now we have 3 times in a year we have put 100K on top of the initial target, even less than 10%. And this is what you need to do. So that work, that week becomes fuller and fuller and fuller. And what I said, there's a limit to this. It doesn't contribute so much. This. So let's go back in time. Here we are at the initial one. Let's see what happens if we increase our quality, which is in the effectiveness part. And of course, quality and effectiveness are related. Let's see how effective raising the quality will be. Raising the quality should be visible in the average deal size. That's pure sales quality. Should be visible in conversion ratios. Let's see if we can become better in calling, and let's make it 15%. Let's see what happens if we become better in our discovery meetings, which will result in having more solution meetings, let's say 60%. Let's see if we can become a little bit better getting quotes out of the solutions phase. Let's make it 80%. Let's see if we can also become better in closing, so 35%. All of that together, you see what happens here. The target stays the same, and I did not even touch yet the average deal size. But remember that we had to do 67 calls, and together those 10 meetings at the initial target, not even raising the target. So now it's 6 meetings. So you see that with the same target, but being better, which should be visible in conversion ratios, you have to work half as hard, which also means that if you keep on working as hard as you did, 2 million on target performance is possible. Let's go back in time. I have an example, it's in the other video, where I analyze an existing sales team, where I have a comparison between somebody a little bit poorer in performance, an average performance of the team under the 10% on target performance, and a guy who really actually exists, who I have trained and coached, but it was already good before my intervention, doing 450% on target performance, and we discovered why. Check that video out. So we will see the result of having higher average deal size. What will happen? Again, huge impact. I will go back in time. What happens? Here we have it again, 65. I think, is this still okay? Yeah, these are the same, right? Yeah. Okay. So we have the 40,000, and these are the numbers we need to produce. 64 calls, etc. Okay, explain that. Let's go back to the 60,000. And here's the difference. No 65 calls, we need only 42, 43 calls when we have this average deal size. So again, also here you see impact of quality, in this case, the impact of average deal size on the on target performance is much, much bigger than working harder. So there you have it. So this was the sales simulator, the target simulator. There's a part which I skipped. It's the part about the weighted pipeline. That's for another video. We'll talk about pipeline management and forecasting, etc. in a different podcast. So here we have the proof that, as I promised, quality uh, resulting in effectiveness, should be visible in typical quality KPIs as the average deal size and the conversion ratios, and therefore also the chance probabilities, and therefore also the weighted value of the pipeline. All of those quality KPIs and stats should be visible, coming from quality, investing in the quality of your sales force, and you will see that that impact is much, much higher than just working harder. So quality, yes, beats quantity. Um, if you want to find out what is the result, return on investment of training and different ways how to organize effective training or not effective training, the difference between classic old school way of organizing training, we go once a year in a hotel, is in between 5 and 10% retention. Retention means what you retain in knowledge, measurable. So that's not a lot, right? So in between 90%, 95% of all your effort and all your money in sales training is gone if you do it like that in the old school classic way. If you do it in the new school way, which I will explain in this video, you will get up to 70% retaining knowledge retention. If you also want to find out more about the sales team analysis, where I compare three benchmarks with each other, a poorer sales guy, which we were luckily to, because of good analysis, find out what was the cause of that, so we could help him become as good as the average of the team. The team was scoring 110%, and there was this one guy scoring 450%, and nobody understood why and how did he do it. All of that is shown in that video, and that's the other video. So check them out. So thank you for watching and listening. I try with every new podcast to try to be more concise. I know that I sometimes tend to repeat myself just because this is what I think is important in sales performance, and there are many often made mistakes, even by highly stated and highly appreciated professionals. So thank you very much. See you at the next podcast, and I say bella ciao.